right now, and the timing on this, Pat, is absolutely appropriate. It's time to have a conversation with Peter Rain, Senior Fellow of the Center for Christian Virtue. Our segment is called Yes, Say Yes to Life. Good morning, Peter, as we approach this week's March for Life. Good to have a conversation with you. Good morning, brother.
Hi, Pete.
Hey, great to be with you guys. I've never done this on radio nor in public before, but I'm going to do it right now. Who's yes?
Amen to that, baby. And
I mean, it's just absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
it
what
was.
A story. 16-0. That university was not known for football for their entire existence, and now they're 16-0. Just absolutely incredible. So anyway, that's not
and
pro-life
that quarterback.
news,
You talking about a pro-life message and just a pro-faith message.
Yeah.
Mendoza, what a wonderful representative of Christianity, Catholicism in particular.
Yeah.
That's right, a very strong Catholic who goes to the Newman Center there at Indiana University. So I always like to see the good guys win, and I think Fernando is one of the good guys.
Yeah.
So, but hey, I'm following 5 stories that I wanted to share with you guys this morning, and just some time for us to reflect. As you mentioned, the March for Life coming up. That's going to be one of those stories. But first, we have bad news out of Virginia.
Yeah.
We've been following just a little bit about what's going on there in their state house, and unfortunately, Virginia Democrats have pushed through a radical constitutional amendment to enshrine abortions up to birth in the state constitution, sending the measure now to voters in a November referendum after party line votes in the General Assembly. So the amendment would establish a so-called, quote, fundamental right to reproductive freedom. It advanced quickly in the Democrat-controlled legislature, cleared the House on party line votes, again, as I mentioned, on the 14th last week. And so just pray for the people of Virginia. It's going to be a tough slog. We know how tough it is or was here in the state of Ohio. But, hopefully those folks who've been studying these different ballot initiatives across the country will have a better shot than we did here in the state of Ohio. Number 2, the Trump administration not helping in the pro-life cause at the moment. Politico relayed last week that the Trump administration quietly permitted Title X federal funding to continue going to Planned Parenthood late last month, allowing the abortion giant to submit reimbursement receipts to the government for birth control and non-abortion activities for low-income clients. Now, we know money is fungible, though, so as soon as money starts going back to Planned Parenthood, it frees up more money to have for, electing pro-choice politicians or whatever it might be. So both President Trump and Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy was asked about the funding being unfrozen, and each of them said, I don't know anything about it, or I haven't heard that. So someone is working there in administration. They got to get their hands on if they don't know that funding is flowing back into Planned Parenthood, which makes the March for Life very interesting on Friday. Interesting only because Vice President J.D. Vance will headline the March for Life next Friday in Washington, D.C., continuing his support for the pro-life cause in the second consecutive year addressing the annual event. So very thankful that, the Vice President will be there. However, if I get a chance, I'm going to ask him a few questions because not sure why, for example, the President said we need to be flexible on the Hyde Amendment when it comes to trying to fix the current health care situation.
Right.
So a lot of challenges right now that we're getting both from Republicans and Democrats on this issue, and we need to push back as hard as we can because, number 4, the Society of Family Planning, now admittedly it's a pro-abortion organization, but they kind of follow and they track abortion numbers, and they estimated during the first half of 2025, the U.S. averaged about 99,000 abortions per month. That's a 4% increase from 2024. And, it would be even higher if we didn't have pro-life laws in approximately 20 states that protect babies from abortion. But, you hear these numbers, but, sometimes when you hear them in a different way or, broken down differently, you think about 99,000 kids killed on a monthly basis in the first half of 2025. It's just, it's heartbreaking. It's hard to kind of, wrap your heart and mind around. And that's why I always kind of go back, number 5, why this issue is so crucial to everything else we're doing. And, Bishop Thomas, the lead of the U.S. CCB Pro-Life Secretariat, often uses this quote, and I often go back to it as well, because I think it encapsulates the reality that, we're not one issue voters, or we're not one issue people when it comes to the issue of life as Catholics. However, we have to get our fundamentals right. And so the 1998 pastoral letter of the USCCB, Living the Gospel of Life, paragraph 22, always very instructive. And it says that any politics of human dignity must seriously address issues of racism, poverty, hunger, employment, education, housing, and healthcare. So we don't ignore those issues, right? But the document continues that being right in such matters can never excuse a wrong choice regarding direct attacks on innocent human life. Indeed, the failure to protect and defend life in its most vulnerable stages renders suspect any claims to the rightness of positions in other matters affecting the poorest and least powerful of the human community. And the USCCB, later in their challenge of forming consciences for faithful citizenship in their second handout, also said, we make a mistake, I think, as Catholics, when we're out there to kind of put a moral equivalence between all the issues of life. And so the bishops stated very clearly that the first mistake we make is a moral equivalence that makes no ethical distinctions between different kinds of issues involving human life and dignity. The direct and intentional destruction of innocent human life from the moment of conception until natural death is always wrong, and it's not just one issue among many. It must always be opposed. Mm-hmm. So instructive this week as we go through Sanctity of Life Month. Many in the evangelical world have Sanctity of Life Sunday here in January as well, and just a time for us to be on our knees again and pray, because since the first century, the Church has affirmed the moral evil of every procured abortion. This teaching has not changed and remains unchangeable. That's from the Catechism 2270. So for all of us as Catholics, just to be challenged and reminded, we have a duty and an obligation to fight for the right to life, first and foremost, as we attempt to build this culture of life.
Pete, do you find that these hearings in Congress right now on mifepristone, there's talk that the FDA is going to say, they need to cut back on this or make some changes in it? Is there what are you seeing in that whole thing?
Yeah, thank you. I think there's a strong contingent who are fighting really hard to kind of raise awareness about the dangers of mifepristone. However, unfortunately, just the reality is it's so hard to get our hands on because so many mifepristone drugs are flooding our country from outside the country.
Yeah.
So even if we do something legislatively here, the administration really needs to act in our ports of entry and do everything we can do from the mail perspective just to keep it out of the country to start with. So a lot of work to do there, so a lot of education still needed.
Yeah, giving thanks for every heart that'll be changed as you march through Washington, D.C., testifying to life. Thank you so much, Peter Rains, and thanks to everybody going to the march. I know it'll make an eternal difference for so many who get to witness it.
Yep. Take care, Pete.